Welcome to another episode of Earthworks Hub. I'm your host, Ivan Orlovic, and today I have a guest for you. This guest is what would you say, a diesel mechanic? Is that right? Something similar to that?
Yeah, heavy earth moving mechanic. Yeah,
There you
pretty
go,
much.
different terms. Yeah, different
Yeah,
terms
different
for it. But
terms. Yeah.
that's it. So I've got Aaron from Definitive Contracting. So I've noticed on your profile it does say Sydney Gold Coast. So just explain that and then also what you do. So yeah, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah. So we just moved up to the Gold Coast. Me and my partner, we bought a house up here. So we're living in Palm Beach. And then obviously I've built the business down in Sydney over 8 odd years, 9 years now. So I've still got a big crew running down there. I think there's about 12 of us now. So auto electricians, boiler makers, mechanics, a couple of apprentices, admins. So yeah, it's pretty busy. So yeah, heaps happening.
There you go. So it's 12 like in total, like Sydney and Gold Coast, or
Yeah, essentially I've got a subby up here as well. I think it's like 12 or 13. So I've got a subby doing a few days a week for me up here. And then, yeah, the rest is based in Sydney. So, yeah, just getting used to the working up here and that down there. So I don't want to spread myself too thin, chasing too much work. So, struggling to keep up as it is, to be quite honest. So, but
yeah,
that's a good thing. So,
yeah, that's it. That's it. Better busy than nothing. That's right.
yeah.
What made so obviously what you started in Sydney? What sort of made you do that move to the Gold Coast?
It's just a lifestyle choice, mate. Obviously, Sydney's expensive. We love the beach, and we were living in a unit in Kensington, and we just didn't want to stay there anymore. And we couldn't obviously afford to live near the beach. So, yeah, I've got a lot of friends up here, and it's just a more relaxed lifestyle. We can walk to the beach, and we don't drive on a weekend. Yeah, it's just heaps more relaxed. It's not a rat race. Essentially, it's great.
Yeah.
So.
So give us a bit of a rundown on yourself. So what did you do prior to this, or how did you get to this point?
So I've always loved earth moving, like ever since I was a young kid. Yeah, I just loved earth moving. So it's what I was going to do, whether it was taking photos, fixing them, operating them. I was always going to be earth moving. I started operating. I used to jump on my push bike and ride around when I was a young kid and find job sites and like. I'd have a disposable camera and take photos of machines. I got like 2 albums full of like old photos and that.
Yeah.
My uncle worked for Abbey Group for a very, very long time, and he was actually at Western Sydney Airport. He used to operate a compactor for him. So the highlight of family holidays was driving up like through Bulla Dealer, and they were doing all the Pacific Highway upgrades, and would pull in there, and like there'd be 651s whizzing past. My uncle would pull up. And it's kind of ironic because Abbey Group's very first D11 they bought, 6050. I got photos in front of that on the blade, like in front of the blade. And then when I was working for Abbey Group after my apprenticeship, that dozer rolled in and got to do a rebuild, a midlife on that when it come in. So it was pretty cool. So, yeah, and I've just stayed in it ever since. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's taken me around the world, which is pretty cool. So,
Oh, really? Tell us about
yeah.
that.
So I've been flown over for Mine Expo in Vegas. That was pretty good. Obviously did a lot in the mines. So I got over for that. I've been to Bole, Germany, like the massive trade fair. I highly recommend doing it. It is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
crazy good. Like we spent 2 days just doing the indoor areas, like just walking around looking at everything. And then when I was with Komatsu, they flew me to Germany and a few other mechanics, and we did 2 weeks of Digga training at the DMAG Komatsu factory. So that was really good. So that was all the mining shovels from PC 3000 and up.
Wow.
So that was pretty awesome. So yeah, it's not too bad. And then obviously being on mining money when you're younger enables you to travel a lot more as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
good, man. Sounds interesting. Yeah, now you've done a bit of everything then. Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
everything, mate. Yeah, did what did I do about 9, 10 years in mining. So went to WA when I was younger. Did FIFO for a very long time. In and out of WA. Um, yeah, then back to the Hunter Valley, bit out in Mudgee, and then in Sydney. And yeah, when I was doing FIFO, I started my own thing up on the side. And I'd come back, operate for mates because they were all working, so I may as well go and hang out with them and drive their machines.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that sort of just evolved into late nights working after my main job, and then, yeah, just pulled the pin and got into Definitive. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's good, man. And now what? It's just strictly Definitive, no operating in that anymore.
I'm actually operating for a guy up here at the moment, so I've been there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just met him. I was fixing his posi track, and I didn't have a heap of work up here at the start. And I was like, "Oh, if you ever need a hand, give us a shout. I'll jump on your machines." He's like, "Oh, I might have something coming up." So he's like, "Can you come operate for the month?" I was like, "Yeah, rightio." So it's like 15 minutes from home. I get there at 6:30. I leave at 3:30, and it's easy. I can work on the business in the morning, at night, take some phone calls. I've just been driving a dump truck, like an old Hitachi 250 dump truck. It's just something different, man. It's good, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice taking orders, not giving them. You can just switch off and just go, righto, I'll do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, yeah, because the last few weeks I've been doing that, just helping out a couple of mates with their machines. I've been in a 13-ton Komatsu, a 22-ton Kobelco, a 35-ton case, a little 5.5-ton Yanmar in the Kubota Posi track. It's like in these last 2 weeks I've been on all these machines, and
Yeah.
just like you say, go there in the morning, come home, and I'm done, man. I don't have to worry about anything else. It's actually not bad. It's not a bad gig.
Yeah. It is nice just having that, yeah, just to switch off. So it is
Yeah.
good, but yeah, yeah, a bit too much drive there to just do that all the time, I think. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I'm the same. If I'm in there for too long, even now it's been 2 weeks, I'm really getting a bit itchy. Like, all right, I got to go somewhere else. I got to do something different. Yeah, I can't sit in that one spot. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, they're like, oh, just scratch over there. I'm like, I'm just wasting diesel. I'm like thinking in my head, there's things I could be doing at home, like for the business, instead of just chucking around over here, scratching some dirt to get to 3:30. I'm like, I'll just go home, man. Like, I'm not going to stay, you know. So he's
yeah,
pretty cool with that. So it's not too bad. And I've got tomorrow off. Tomorrow will be an office day, so catch up on all my admin. Obviously, what is it, 20th tomorrow? So next week's getting close to end of month.
yeah,
So end of month for invoices, stat decks, all the fun stuff. So if I can get ahead of that and make it a bit more streamlined, it's yeah, make sure you get paid.
yeah.
That's the main thing. Right.
Exactly my point. Yeah, especially nowadays, man. I don't know about up there, but in Melbourne, it's getting really quiet, and I'm hearing a lot of people saying that they're starting to get concerned about getting paid. So everyone's a little bit sus on taking on new work with new customers. You know, they're all a bit like, got to make sure they can pay me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's having those things in place too, isn't it? Like we have new client application forms, so has all our rates, our terms, and everything on there. And once they're read and signed and come back to us, I think that's a key part into setting up that, like starting the relationship, so everything's above board. Because I'm sure you and everybody watching understand when something's broken or something needs to get done, it's rush, 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 and then it's done. Then everyone's like, "Well,
Yeah,
I need my money," and they're like, whoa, whoa, you know.
yeah,
So I think it's
yeah,
just a bit of an ass covering exercise, to be honest.
yeah.
So
So with your business, how does it work? Are you guys predominantly mobile, or do you have like a workshop that you bring everything back to?
so we're predominantly mobile. We have a small workshop in Wetherill Park. We've sort of outgrown it, to be honest. So we probably look to upsize soon and take on a bit more workshop stuff. So say be able to bring in a 30-ton dump truck, 30-ton digger, and take on the bigger work. I don't think there's anyone in Sydney besides like your OEMs that are sort of doing that at the moment, unless um, they've got their own mechanics in their own workshop essentially. But yeah, mostly on the field. So I mean, it's cheaper for us to drive there than it is to float a big machine around. And if it's broken, you're not doing nothing with it anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. All right. So you sent me a couple of photos beforehand to show me some of the things that you've done, and what I'll do, I'll put them up for people to have a look at. So because you and I can't see them right now, I'll explain which photo it is, and you just tell
yeah,
us a bit of history on that.
yeah,
So what have we got? Let me open them up here. So I've got the first one is I don't know what size excavator that is, but it's for the Delta Group, and it looks like he's got a nibbler attachment on it.
Oh, yeah,
Tell us about that. Yeah.
big Hitachi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big front, yeah, so that was a big 870. That was up at Kurri Kurri. So Delta and CMA had a big job up at Kurri Kurri demolishing the big aluminium smelter up there. Just the smelter itself inside was like
Yeah.
cool. Like it was mad. They had like it looked like Star Wars sort of stuff hanging from the roof, and these little like cranes would go down. It was cool. But anyway, the yeah, we went up there to assemble that machine. What else? I had a PC 450 there, and I might have sent you photos of the 1600, the PC 1600. We assembled that there as well, and it had a big set of shears on it, so 150 tonner, I think, 160
Oh, I can
ton.
see that.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that was a pretty cool job up there. So we were up there, put those machines together, commissioned them, got them back up and running, and yeah, just did a few breakdowns and babysat them for a while. It was a pretty cool job. Yeah.
There you go. And there's another one here of a massive front end loader with the front tires that look like chains almost. Um, where's that? That looks like it's out somewhere in the desert almost.
Yeah, it's like facing out a big workshop.
No, no, it's just out by itself with a ute next to it. And it's
Oh, rightio.
like a
Yeah,
sand
that's
dune
a
behind it.
WA 1200 from Western Australia. So did a lot of time on WA 1200s. I think I'd rebuilt almost every single one in the Pilbara at one stage. When I was with Komatsu, I was on the rebuild crew for a long time. It was good. Go in, strip a machine back down. You'd be on it for maybe a month, put it all back together, and then off you go. And then I'd move on to the next job. So yeah, it's pretty good. Bit of a challenge to get them built, and yeah, what is it? Mean time between failures. So get it to go out and make sure it comes back in for the next service. No breakdowns in between. So.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm looking at another one where there's one I'm gathering that's in the workshop. And that, yeah, they're just huge, man. How do you like lift things out of these? Do you need little mobile cranes or forklifts to lift stuff up? How do you get all
Yeah,
the parts to it and that?
forklifts. They have big overheads. That big loader is a 2350, so that's the largest electric drive loader. I think it's a Komatsu now, rebranded. But yeah, they have like your little TEDs, little remote control platforms that go up and down. You can put your rattle guns or high torques on them, so you're not lifting. Then they'll have other big tables for your trucks that will go in, lift your wheel motors off, or pull your struts, pull your hoist cylinders. So they've got everything there to be able to do the job. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Big forklifts. I think they're like 16-ton forklifts that are big tire handlers. So, but yeah, they're big machines. They move some serious dirt. So
Man. And what's it like in those sheds? It must get really hot, I imagine, in like summer and stuff.
so that shed that Latorno was in, it was actually air conditioned. So they had big roller doors, and it was like an evaporative system. So it made a big difference. But depending where you were in the Pilbara, if you're further up north, like Headland, Penawanaka, Karratha, the humidity was really, really bad. So yeah, you'd just be hot and sweaty, but you get used to the dry heat. It wasn't too bad. So
Yeah.
you get like 45-degree days, and then you go down into the pit, and the diggers would shut down. And then when you open up the doors to go into the diggers, into the engine rooms, just the heat off the engines would just hit you to be like 85 degrees from the heat, like off the engines, the radiators. So there was no airflow. So you'd have like all your gloves and long sleeves on. You'd
Yeah.
be touching stuff and just getting like burnt as you're trying to check levels and work on them. So
Wow.
yeah, it was really scorching. So.
Man. Yeah, that's amazing what you've done, man. I'm just flicking through all these. You've worked on some mega machines. I've definitely got to post these up. So I'll definitely like put them all up as I edit this and put them all in. And that van I can see. So yeah, so you were able to use your van and drive around as well. Oh, it's like a little mini truck you've got. Is that one of those little four-wheel drive trucks?
Yeah, got a little Isuzu NPS 300 all kitted out with a little crane on it and that. So, yeah, it's been everywhere. Tunnels and, yeah, mine pits. Yeah, everywhere. So, all over Western Sydney Airport. So, yeah, it's good. Snowy hydro. I've done some K's in that thing.
Man, yeah. No, look, and then yeah, that compared to the machines behind it, geez, there's a Terex one behind it. It just like
Yeah. So they
it
were the
just.
diggers that were on Western Sydney Airport. So
Oh,
they were out the back of Sydney. Yeah. The Terex is a 120, I think, 250 ton, and then a PC 2000 and a Hitachi 2500. And then I think there was 3 or 4 ZX 1200s on there. So
man.
120 ton. Yeah, that was a pretty awesome project. That one. It's
I tell
massive.
you what, they're huge, man. I can't even imagine the size of the tools and things you've got. Like I had the biggest size I had was a 21 ton Cabelco, and I used to see the tools the mechanic had, and I was amazed by that. Let alone something like that, like what you've worked on. That'd be amazing to watch how you take stuff off and work on them.
Yeah, it's you use some pretty decent tools. Like I run around with a inch air gun, like battle gun in my truck all the time. But once you start getting that bigger stuff, you'll use hydraulic tools like your high torques and everything. And you got to be very careful. A lot of people crush their fingers and damage their hands and that because they'll react. And if they slip, they'll like jam. Or if you normally use 2 people to get it on and off and hold it, and yeah, they'll be like up to inch and a half drive. So yeah, you sometimes using a bench to hold it all up to get onto the sockets. So
Yeah, yeah. So just a quick shout out to all my sponsors. That's Network Finance, the Bole Group, Melbourne Tractors, Spartan Machinery, Nexgen Landscapes, JR Safety Co, Digga, Digga, Godings, and Earthmoving Warehouse. So thank you very much to all those people for supporting the Earthworks Hub train. Thank you very much. I came a bit more prepared this time. I actually asked all the listeners or viewers or followers to give me some questions. So I'm going to run
yeah,
through a list of listener questions. Are you happy to do that?
mate, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right, beautiful. All right, so the first one comes from one of my sponsors, Godings. And obviously they're asking because they have mechanics on site and they probably have like mechanics come and go. So they're asking like how do you attract like young people to this trade? Like what do you do to attract them, or what can they do?
Um, it it's hard. Like to be a diesel mechanic is like a tough trade. It's big hours. It's demanding. It's hot. It's backbreaking. I think that they've got to want to do it. And I think just the offer of where it can take you, like obviously with what I was saying before, you can travel around the world. You can like I know Cat have like awesome programs, Komatsu. I think it's what they can get out of the job essentially. Like you can go to the mines, you can make massive money. You can be in the middle of Melbourne, like the fitters in the tunnels down there are on crazy money.
Yeah,
Right. So I think that's you just have to put that to them. But it's yeah, like there's not many mechanic shops that work 7 till 3:30. I'll tell you that. Like it's
yeah,
normally big hours. So I think it's yeah, but having that flexibility as well. I'm pretty flexible with all my boys. But it is a hard one. So I don't
yeah,
really
yeah,
have a definitive answer on it. Like it's
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah,
I often wonder. I wonder because a lot of us were in previous days used to love cars when we were young and do mechanical things ourselves and always wanted to be hands on. And even when I got my machines, I enjoyed trying to fix things myself. But I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know if I don't know if I see that in all these younger people. I think they're more just tech savvy. Like I don't know if they like anything mechanical and getting dirty. I don't know. I can't say that for all of them, but I don't
yeah.
know. I
I
feel like it might
think
might be
it's
different.
the attraction of quick and easy money, like the social media thing and the yeah, make YouTube videos and yeah, I think well what's yeah, they do that online trading where they buy stuff from here, move it to there and they can make like yeah, it's I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a bit
Yeah,
above me. Yeah.
and I think it's like a job that I don't think robots will ever be able to replace. So what's going to happen
Yeah.
if we don't get young people in there? Like, what will happen? I don't know. That's a good question, actually. Yeah,
Yeah. Well we struggle now to keep up essentially, like to find good mechanics and um yeah, it is very, very hard. It's challenging. So there's heaps of work out there. Like I think if you're a mechanic at the moment, you're not busy, you don't want to be busy, or you're not working hard enough. So
Well said. And what about when you're choosing people to work for you? What do you look for?
um, probably like a work ethic. And yeah, because you can't untrain a bad work ethic, It's like it's pretty hard to get around. And just a good attitude. Like I'm not a like you hear a lot, guys will be like, "Oh, it's not my daddy's tractor," That's like, well, or it's not a Ferrari or something. You're like, well, this thing makes a lot more money than a Ferrari. Like it's
Yeah,
just having that pride in their work, be willing to learn. Um, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Is just have a good attitude. Like, yeah, that's
yeah,
it, yeah. Admit when you're wrong or like make a mistake. Like everybody does it. Just tell me as soon as possible so we can move on with it. That's probably the biggest things. I'll give everybody a chance, and then yeah, work backwards from there sometimes. So yeah.
yeah. What about apprentices? Do you put apprentices on?
Uh, yeah, I've had a couple of apprentices. A couple haven't worked out, but I've got two really good fourth years working for me at the moment. They're great. They're actually getting signed off at the moment. They're really good. So keen lads, like love the trade. Just really good guys. So um, it's it's a catch 22 as well because we work on a lot of major sites. Having an apprentice to get them inducted to take them onto the sites to work with us as well is a little bit hard and a bit of a juggle. But hopefully, as I said earlier, we can move into a bigger workshop and we can get some more of that work. I'd definitely look at putting on some more apprentices. So,
Oh, awesome, awesome.
yeah,
All right. So another listener question is like, what's the hardest part of your job?
the hardest
Yeah,
part. Um, uh, Well, I suppose there's a few different questions. Like, as a business owner, it's probably getting paid and juggling people's expectations. Probably as a mechanic, juggling people's expectations. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, like so. Um, if it's a mechanical repair, right, it can take 2 minutes to find a mechanical repair, but it could take 2 days to fix. You know what I mean? So, like,
yeah,
if you go there, pull the filter, yep, your transmission's cooked. So, transmission out could be down for 2 days. But then you go and do electrical, and it could be 2 days to find a 2 minute fix. It's like, it's a juggle and trying to justify your time and the process that you do to get to there because it's always a process of elimination. You don't just want to fire the parts gun per se and just do this, do that without any real troubleshooting or diagnostics. Like, why did we change that? So
yeah,
that's probably some of the harder things. Just the hours that you work, the conditions that you work, they're very challenging as well. So.
yeah. I reckon I was just gonna say, like, what about your hours? Because I know a lot of the mechanics that come and help me, they usually come out like after hours to do servicing so that I can keep working during the day. Or if I have a breakdown and I need that machine for tomorrow, yeah, they'll come in. And I've had mechanics work till like 10 o'clock at night with torches and just trying to repair like a swing motor or something just to keep me going.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, you do those things. It's sort of getting a little bit harder to do them bigger days in certain spots now, like obviously with the tunnels and that. The mines, you obviously doing 12 to 14 hours every day for weeks straight. But yeah, working for myself, you're always pushing the envelope, like work all day, then do servicing at night.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's massive hours. It's very draining. Saturdays, Sundays, breakdowns, like yeah, phone rings, up you go, away you go. So
yeah,
it's yeah.
yeah. My hat goes off to you, man. I don't think it'd be as an easy job as what people think, anyway. Yeah,
No, no, it has its challenges. So
yeah. It looks like I've got a couple of technical type questions here. So, Oztrack Civil, he's asking or has made a comment. A veteran mechanic said that not only are you not lubricating the hammer moil and piston correct when you're not putting downward pressure on the moil. So, I suppose it means as you're greasing it, if you don't
Yep.
have the moil depressed onto the ground, um, he's saying that, it can cause grease to go further up around the piston casing and cause grease to enter the oil system. And he said that conversation was sparked after some dirty oil was found in his hydraulics. He said, could this be true? What's your opinion
Yeah, it
on
is
that?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on my Instagram, there is some photos somewhere in a tunnel. Hyundai, we went to it, slow hydraulics, and that's exactly what had happened. So the you get a void above the moil, and you fill that with grease, and obviously that pressure goes somewhere and jams that grease back up into the system. And the hydraulic filter was that blocked. When we took the lid off the hydraulic filter, all the oil was to the top of the filter. And then we pressed the breather and the oil in the middle of the filter, just drained out, but the oil around the filter sat there. And
Oh.
if the grease had blocked the filter up so badly, the oil wasn't getting through it. And the pressure was building up that much, it couldn't get through the bypass, and the machine was going slow. So we had to flush everything, and then we still had a few hydraulic problems. So we're pulling the regulators off the pumps, and we found like grease and like a black residue in there, and it was just jamming everything up. But there is photos on my Instagram of that in a tunnel. So, and you'll see the great conditions you're working down there as well. It's just a haze down the tunnel. So, but it does happen. You should always have the moil on the ground. And that's why the auto lube systems on a hammer only work when it's firing. So when it's upright and there's pressure on it firing, that's when the grease system will work. So
Oh, that was going to be my next question. How does the auto greaser know? Well, there you go. That's right. It's as it's firing, it knows to go in as
yeah,
it's
so as
going
it
up.
gets that pressure, yeah. And yeah, like if you dead fire it, like if there's no load on it, you don't get that pressure, so your auto lube won't work, won't fire. So
Yeah, yeah. I think the auto lube's great, man. The last few days I've been on this 35, and I've got to get out every hour to go and grease it up. And then I thought, why don't you just get an auto greaser? But not everyone can have it.
yeah, they are good and bad. Like you do have to stay on top of them. You have to put the right grease into them. Don't let them run out. If you do bust a line, depending on the style of the grease system, you can't just cap it off or blanket because it will affect the whole grease system, or sometimes it doesn't, depending on the
Yeah.
system. And yeah, people just do come a little bit complacent. They don't get out and check. So um, yeah, they have their place, but they still need a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, yeah. I know on my 20 tonner, I had a the auto grease little solenoid thing at the front, and it kept vibrating off and kept dropping off all the time. Every time I'd put nuts in there, and even if I put some Loctite in, eventually they'd loosen up and the thing would just drop off all the time.
Yeah, is that what was that for the auto lube on the hammer?
Yeah, yeah, on the actual hammer itself. Yeah, it used to always rattle
Yeah,
itself loose. So
yeah, you can get Nordlock washers, and they're like the two washers, and they've got like little slots on them and little wedges. So as you tighten it up, it just sort of and they bind right in. We use them a lot in the tunnels on like your big road headers. Obviously the vibration and everything on them, they work really really well on those. So Nordlocks might be able to help you with that one.
oh, there you go. Oh, awesome. Good,
Nordlocks.
good. That's it. All right, so that was his question. So TerraPro is asking, how does the DPF burn work?
How does the DPF burn work? Um, so a DPF essentially catches all the soot, unburnt fuel. As that builds up, your soot level will increase, so you get higher restrictions. And then what will happen depends on the size of the engine, the manufacturer. They either inject more fuel into the engine, so it might be after top dead center, they'll inject some more fuel, or they'll inject fuel in front of the DPF to increase the temperatures. And then some of them temperatures can get up to 650 degrees in that DPF, and it will burn the soot off that way and any unburnt fuel particulates. So it's yeah, it's pretty important to do. It can be an expensive exercise if you don't look after them. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that two one was about 14 grand on a dump truck. So
Man, yeah, you don't want to stuff around with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you miss that burn during the day, just sit there of an afternoon. You can only do it so many times, and AdBlue's pretty bad with it. But a good point too with DPF and soot management is your engine oil. Your engine oil is critical if you run a tier 4 or AdBlue machine because you want a low ash oil. Otherwise, your DPF will get burnt, will get really full up. And yeah, you'll notice on the newer machines, the engine oil actually generally runs a little bit cleaner. Um, but yeah, just a little tip for your viewers, run the proper oil. I think we're at maybe CK4, CK5, but you want to look for the low ash, low sulfur, I think it is. But yeah, very important. That can cause a lot of dramas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. When I had my SK135, I had the 13.5 ton Cabelco. I had AdBlue, and
Yeah,
it was so painful, man. I had to buy a separate tank for the ute for my worker. So he had the diesel tank on one side, the AdBlue tank on the other, and he had to keep filling
yeah,
up. And then we had that massive AdBlue shortage, and we couldn't go to work because we
yeah,
had no AdBlue, and we were scrounging around for AdBlue everywhere. Oh, it was so painful,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
man. We could probably have a whole chat just on all the emission stuff, like
yeah.
just what to do to keep your gear running, and yeah, best practices. So
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, man. Yeah, we'll have to
yeah.
we'll have to do something on that. Um, all right. So then a couple of other people have asked questions. So somebody asked, which grease type is the best to use on machinery?
Um, Grease type is very dependent on environment, what workload you're doing. Obviously, if you're doing a lot of hammering, you probably want something that's a little bit more tacky and a higher heat point because it'll get a bit hotter. Um, and then, yeah, it's like we run, I think it's a Lithoplex from High Tech. It's generally pretty good. It's clean. It's reasonably tacky. It doesn't just sort of melt and make a disgrace of your machine. But then if you run an auto lube system, you have to put specific greases in those as well. You can't have something that's going to go hard, otherwise you'll be chasing your grease system. So, um, yeah, and then obviously hammer grease is a chisel paste is a totally different ball game again. But it's yeah, uh, grease is cheap, pins aren't. So yeah, just grease everything is probably the main thing. But yeah, don't go too cheap and something that's too liquid, it'll just make a mess of the machine. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the other thing. I've seen a lot of guys over grease their machines, and you see there's just grease coming out everywhere, and it makes a mess. Is that a good thing to have more grease, or is that actually causing something bad?
um, not necessarily like grease is cheap to a degree, but you got to remember as you're pushing grease in, if there's grease coming out, it's pushing dirt out that's gotten in there. So around your hitch pins on your quick hitch and everything, there'll generally be rubbers in there. Like just a little thing. Make sure you put those rubbers in. If they break, replace them. Like the big O-rings, they stop heaps of dirt getting in there. They stop all the wear, so you don't takes the slap out, so you're not shimming all the time. You're not chewing through grease. It's just like a little thing that you can do on your machine for the sake of knocking a pin out. $10 on them, and you won't have to grease as much because your grease just isn't getting chewed out. But yeah, I don't know. I've seen some machines that are immaculate and all the pins are tight because they're greased twice a day. Like it's just, yeah. I
Yeah.
get out, do it in the morning, doing it at lunch, but I grease the machines every day where I am, like of a morning, and then I'll top them up of a night depending on what I've been doing. So, yeah.
That was going to be one of my questions. I was going to say, like, how often should you grease? I've heard some people say, oh, you only need to do it once a week, and other people say, yeah, like you say, daily. What is there a one rule, or what's the generic rule?
Uh, So it depends on the machine, obviously. Depends on what you're greasing. So, slurring on a digger, you could probably do that once a week or a little squirt like every day. But what you have to remember, if you've got a nipple either side, you never just do it straight in front or straight on the back. You should always turn 90 to spread the grease the whole way around. And you've got to be careful with your grease guns too, because you can pop the seals out of the slew ring so the grease won't stay in there. Same as on some pins, like say a dozer equalizer bar, if you pump the grease in there too hard, too fast, sometimes you can pop your seals. So, yeah, but like a digger in heavy digging, I'd grease it every day. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's
your bucket and pitches, stick pin, like that main boom to stick pin, that's working the hardest. That moves the most out of anything on the machine. So,
yeah.
yeah.
No, that's good. So I reckon, like from what I'm hearing, at least daily. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, mate. Yeah, and as you operate, you start to know you can hear the creaks and the groans. If you can hear that, and your machine's asking for something, it's talking to you. So
Yeah.
you want to listen and put some grease in there.
Yeah. Especially like posi tracks and that with the 4-in-1s and they're constantly opening, closing, tilting, moving.
Yeah, and those yeah
They need the most, I
those
reckon. Yeah.
bottom bucket pins, they're like critical as well, and your undercarriage, like the equalizer bars, like the pivots for all your undercarriage on the posi tracks, the cats and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for the sake of a little bit of grease every day, it's going to save you big time on the back end of your machine. So
Yeah. No, thank you. That's good. Good advice. You mentioned something about hammer grease before. So, what's the difference between regular grease and hammer paste or grease?
chisel paste. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there's like it has a higher metal content in it. So it's like an extreme pressure grease. So it doesn't break down under the forces and the heat because your hammers get so hot. So I think they call it melt point, drop point of the grease is a lot higher, and it has it's a higher metallic content in there. So whether it's graphite or something else, maybe a bit more I can't always say it, molybdenum or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Moly.
molly grease.
Moly. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
molly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
molybdenum. Just something like that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
expensive, but it's worth every cent, man. We've got two big hammers in our workshop at the moment that we're stripping down, and parts are expensive. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a piston is $6,000 for the piston alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So grease them, look
yeah.
after them.
Grease them. So, if you don't have hammer paste, can you temporarily just put normal grease until you get some? Is that going to be still like okay for now, or is it better just not to do it at all?
Oh, something's better than nothing, but it comes back to this what we were talking about before. Just get it done.
Yeah.
So if it's going to get the job done and get you paid and you're out of there, then so be it. But unless you can, like, really, you could ring someone like Mr. Filter, or if you've got a good, like I don't know, Aussie Hammers. If you were desperate, you could always get them to run you out of box. So for the price of it, they probably would. So because it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then what about hammer storage? Like, I don't know if you saw a post I put up recently I asked the
Yeah.
question, what's the proper way to rest your hammer? I'm talking more about diggers because that's what I relate to more. But
Yeah.
I put a post up saying, what's the best way? And a lot of people, a majority said to have it with the moil in the ground overnight, like having it straight down instead of
Yep.
resting on the ground or resting on your buckets. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, well, that's how it should be stored. So not only for the hammer, but if you don't set your machine right up at the end of the night or something, if your machine creeps or the ground moves, that extra leverage on the hammer can put strain on your cylinders. So even when you're coming to fold it up, if you go too far, you can rip that bucket cylinder and pull the piston off the rod. I've seen Hitachis below the end of the rods, like the end of the cylinders, clean off. It's similar to like if you're walking off a bench with a machine, you fold the arm under too far, you can pop the piston off the end.
Yeah.
But it also keeps moisture out of there too. So unless you're storing it in a puddle, and it just keeps the weight off the moil, putting flat spots in the seals and everything on the inside too. So
Oh, there you go. So it's true. It's
yeah,
true then. All right.
yeah.
So straight down,
Straight
moil on
down,
the ground.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it's on your truck, stand it up if you got the room.
Yeah.
So all them
Yeah.
guys that you see with their combos and they got them stacked up nicely, that's what you want.
That's it.
So
Yeah. No, I think I made that fatal error. I've always had it laying down. or down with just resting on the bucket, or resting with the chisel on the bucket and then the hitch on the ground. So I think I've made all those mistakes in my time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think one of your followers, he had it right. Like, you load all your buckets up, and then you just put the oil in the ground, and no one's getting nothing, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. All right. Very good. Then someone's asking, is there really much of a difference between genuine or aftermarket? And if you had to, would you recommend aftermarket over genuine? Like, what's your opinion on that?
like parts and filters and that.
Yeah.
Um, there's sort of two different cases. Like, obviously, cost is a big thing. Filters, a lot of them all come out of the same place anyway. Cat filters are pretty cheap. Uh, and you have to remember, if you're going to, say, an aftermarket joint, you might not get the right fuel filter. So that money that you've saved has just cost you heaps more, because I got to drive back, get the right filter, and come back, you know. So, and that's the thing with machines like Komatsu's. You'll go from serial number 1000 to 3002, and then from 3003 to 4000, the fuel filters are different. So you just got to be mindful of that sort of stuff. So you can lose a lot of time there. Quality these days is normally pretty good. We run a lot of aftermarket stuff to help guys save money. If they're under warranty, just do yourself a favor and buy genuine. Take your samples, and just run with that. Probably don't have to do genuine oil, because 9 times out of 10 it's just Castrol or Caltex oil in a Komatsu or a Cat tub. Cat oils are pretty good generally. Parts. Parts is a hard one. You got to weigh up the balance of cost versus time, you know. So
Yeah.
we had a posi track we were looking after in the tunnels. We were buying genuine cat tracks. I think there was like $8,000 for it, a 299D. We tried a couple of aftermarket ones, and they didn't last as long.
Yeah.
So it's that balance. Same as undercarriage. The more metal in your undercarriage, the longer it's going to last. The cheaper it is, the less the metal, the less quality metal. So, yeah, you just got to find the price point that works best for you at the time, and go with there. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, good. Well said, man. Well said. All right. And then let me just have a quick look here. Oh, someone's saying, yeah, why should machine owners use either a private mechanic versus a dealership, or a brand mechanic? Like, what's your opinion on that?
Obviously, I've been both sides of the thing. I've worked for contractors. I've worked for an OEM, and now I run my own show. Comes down to a price point essentially. And nowadays, the way machines are, if you don't have the training or the knowledge behind you, it makes it very hard to troubleshoot and diagnose. So I've got 3 computers. I got a can do that was 14 grand. I spent another 4 grand on different adapters. I've got 2 other laptops. They are about 4 to 5 grand each, and then you got to buy all your comms adapters. So Cat's comms, $1,500. Vocomms, 1,500. Like, for Volvo, so it all adds up. So you have to remember, you're paying an OEM for that, and the people that they can call that are sitting in that office with direct access to all of that stuff. So it's, yeah, either way, like, I mean, you can get a OEM mechanic and they've just started with them. They've never worked on, say, a Komatsu or a Cat before, you know,
Yeah.
because this goes back to getting guys in trades and the availability of mechanics. Yeah, but it's, yeah,
Yeah. One or
it's
the
good
other.
luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, you
Yeah.
could get a very good stubby mechanic that's like, yeah, got a good backing, has the knowledge, has support, and then you could have a total dud come from an OEM, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then that just comes down to branch and location and relationships. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think, like,
I
for me,
don't know if I answered that question at all, really,
yeah.
but yeah,
No, no, no. I think you did in the roundabout way, because what I said, we had this conversation a while back. I think there was an episode I did on this, and I just said that, for example, myself, I had different brand machines. So for me, it was easier to have a mechanic, a private diesel mechanic, turn up, and then he could work on my cat, on my Kubota, on my Cabalco, whatever. He could do all service everything while he was there, instead of me going and calling one OEM, then the other, or taking it to one OEM. And it was just easier to have a private
Oh
guy.
yeah,
You know.
100%, man. Like daily maintenance, like your general servicing, things like that. Like as long as they're doing it properly, I have been to machines that like we've opened up to check the diff levels, and it's just a black tar in there. We're like, has this been getting serviced? They're like, yeah, we just had like this guy come in. We're like, man, there's nothing in here. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he's a mechanic. I'm like, what kind of mechanic? Oh, he come from cars. Well, the slight difference, man. Like. So,
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But what's one of your pet hates when you come to like fix a machine or do a service?
oh, just the state of the machine. Like, if it's just thrashed, like, I'm just not much into it. Like, my trucks and my utes, I like them to look nice and clean. Like, it's, and that's how I expect my boys to leave the machines. But yeah, sometimes it's a little hard when you're trying to fix something and it's just that far beyond broken. Yeah. Or just when you recommend something and they're like, nah, not doing it. And then you're back out there 2 weeks later doing what you told them to do for like double the price. Like, yeah, that annoys me a lot.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Actually, that's a good one. Yeah, that's true. I imagine that happen a lot.
yeah, yeah. Probably not so much like a lot of our client base we've been with for a long time now. So, like, generally, if we say you should probably do this, they're like, all right, we'll just do it. Like, and then you work within a day or something is sorted out. So,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. I've had times like that where I've had, for instance, maybe a track split, and then they say to me, "Well, you might as well replace both because the other one's, like 80% worn, and if you put a brand new one on here, it's just not going to be right, So you might as well just replace both." And I'm like, "No, no, no, don't worry about it." And then 2 weeks later, the other one's gone. I'm like, "Shit, I should have just listened to him." Yeah,
Yeah, and then you can't get the mechanic, and yeah, it's those things you'd sort of weigh up, like, oh, second track, but then you got to add on, you're paying another call out fee, like, and just the downtime. So
yeah,
it,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's it. What was one of the hardest jobs that you've done?
hardest. Um, oh, I don't know. I think I had a photo that I sent you of like a tarp set up on a machine. It was in a quarry, and I went out to it. It failed the turbo, and then it wouldn't start once I replaced the turbo. And I started to dive deeper, and I found an engine mount was loose. So the engine had been moving, and it cracked the intercooler. So I ended up pulling the head off it to go, yeah, your pistons are cooked. But in the meantime, while we were sorting that out, they dug around the machine. So the machine was left up on this big pedestal. So I come back out, and like I had to build stairs up to the machine. So I set up a tarp. I pulled this engine out. A digger come down, lifted the engine out, and then it tracked up the road with the engine. And then my truck's four-wheel drive, and I didn't move. So they hooked me up to the back of a D6, and I got towed out with this D6. That was pretty brutal in the rain, like just pulling an engine, like put the head back on, bolt it all back in, then pull the whole engine back out. Um, what else? Oh, just big diggers, man. Like the heat, the oil, the amount of oil when you do a hose on a big digger. If you're in under there changing a rotary joint, it's yeah, not good. Cleaning like slew baths out, so they get blackjack. It's like another grease. It
Yeah,
gets on your skin and stains you, and you have to get in there. And they use it on the slew rings. You got to get in there, scrape it all out, clean it all out. Um, yeah, just I don't know. It's yeah. I think there's another picture there. I'm covered in stuff in a sperm suit. I was on a Liebherr material handler. I had the big turret in it, so I had to climb up into the turret, and it was just full of grease. and there was hoses running from one rotary joint to the next. So I had to stay in there, and I was working like this, undoing all these caps and plugs, and oil's just dripping on me, grease is just falling all over me, and I was in there for about 2.5 hours just undoing everything. It was, yeah. You
Oh
come out of
man.
stuff like that, you're like, why do I do this shit? Like, but it was
Yeah.
a cool job because then we lifted it off and it was pretty mad. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's, yeah.
Man, you make me feel bad for complaining about sitting in the digger hammering all day. It doesn't
Yeah,
sound anywhere
yeah,
near as bad as what you've done. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Tips when I was an apprentice, we used to look after stuff at the tip, and yeah, you get some good stuff there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What? Just finding stuff, or just
Oh,
the
yeah,
machines?
finding stuff, what was in the tip, like yeah, just they might be have animals buried in there, and they might clip an animal, and then you just smell it. It's just yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hot summer's day out there doing breakdowns on the compactor. Yeah, it's not polite, that's for sure.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't think of that. Every time I used to go to the tip with my tipper, I used to get out and open the tailgate, and it used to stink, and I used to hate it because then it's on my shoes when I get back in, and then I can smell it for the rest of the day. But yeah, let alone working there and having to actually get under a machine and something that's just plowed through all that rubbish. Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. That'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah. Rats running through it, and just yeah, you never know what's going to fall out of a belly guard.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh man. Maybe I'll stick to operating. Yeah. uh, what was the craziest amount of time you spent on like one repair? Was there one job that stood out?
Um, oh, oh, I mean, when we were doing the big rebuilds, like we did a full rebuild on a WA 1200, that was about 6 weeks. So continuous shifts, like, yeah. We had weekends off on that, but yeah, you'd normally be on like a digger or a loader shut for like a month straight. So, yeah, day shift, night shift, have your 14th off, keep going. Um, I don't know. I've had some doozies, like, took me 2 days to find an electrical fault on a big, on a Peterson wood grinder. That was pretty frustrating. Um,
It's it's amazing to think about like being on one machine for a month trying to repair that. Like that's just it just must be a mega task, you know?
yeah, yeah, big job, man. Like you strip it all back to chassis. So the first week, it all comes apart really quick, and then you're just left with like a chassis up on stands, and it looks like that for like the next 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
everything's getting done inside. You're doing all the hoses, the electronics, the wiring, everything's going inside, and it's so disheartening because you just roll in, you're like, oh, it looks the same. And then the last week, all the big parts go in, big parts win hearts, axles, tires run, then it's out the door, So, yeah, it does get yeah, wears you down a little bit towards the week 3 when you're like, oh, it's still the same.
Oh man. No, that's good. All right. If people wanted to get in touch with you, what is the best way to get in touch?
So I've got Instagram and LinkedIn. I think my phone number might be on there. I've got a new webpage coming, so it'll be tied in with another business I've got starting up. But yeah, just my phone number, Instagram, flick us an email, info@definitivecontracting.com.au. So yeah, just give us a shout if I don't get my phone the first time or my supervisor doesn't. We try to ring back, just leave a voicemail. That's the biggest thing. Like
Yeah.
yeah, so.
No, awesome. Yeah, I understand you probably have like oily, greasy hands, can't just answer the phone all the time, if you're down deep
Oh
in
yeah, the watch, the Garmin, that's the best thing. I'm like, I don't have to worry about that. I'll get to that. So,
it.
but yeah.
Yeah, no, good. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a very interesting chat and good to have a bit of a break because I've got a lot of like owner operators and stuff on, and you're the first sort of mechanic sort of guy that's come on that can tell us a bit more about something different. So, um, I think there's going to be a lot more stuff happening. So if you're happy to do something more in the future, I'm happy to do something. So if you're listening, guys, keep an eye out. There's going to be some big things coming. We won't release too much information, but we'll do some stuff, and I think it's going to be very, very helpful for you guys. But yeah, Aaron, I want to really say thank you for your time and sharing some of those stories. And yeah, like I said, guys, if you need any information or if you need some machine repairs and that, I'm sure Aaron can help out. And I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
No, I appreciate you having me on, mate. Looking forward to it. So
That's it. No, thanks again.
thanks, son.
Good. Everyone, thanks for joining, and I will see you all on the next episode. Have a good night.